Hey everyone, welcome back. So in the previous video we were doing some animation retargeting for our Mixamo character here that is using a different skeleton asset than these three characters here. What we wanted to do was take one of the animations that all three of these characters can use and apply that animation to this character. However, we couldn't do so directly because this character is using a different skeleton asset. But we could use animation retargeting, which we did in the previous video by creating a special asset called the rig, which this character, our source asset, passes the information of the skeleton asset to that rig, and then the rig passes that information to the new skeleton asset so that we can retarget those animations. We did make a couple more modifications to our skeleton asset for our Mixamo character here in between videos, which I believe we mentioned we were going to do. But really quickly, we just fixed the hands. All we did for that is if we go to the Mixamo folder and open up the skeleton asset for that character, on the skeleton tab under the retarget manager, if we go down to the setup rig and show advanced, all we did was assign the individual fingers, which we didn't do in the previous video. Just in the interest of time, we just did that in between videos. So if you'd like to do that, feel free, come in and assign the individual indexes and fingers for your character. You will need to retarget the animation once you do this, again, to apply those updates to fix the hands for your character. So with that, let's actually close this. What we're going to do in this video now is focus on sockets. And again, sockets are a way to attach something to your character. For instance, you could put a socket in the character's head to attach a hat. You could put a socket in the character's hand so that they can be carrying something while they're playing different animations. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to work with this skeleton asset so that we can have a socket that can be used by all three of these characters here. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to hop down to the content browser and go under the third person BP folder. I'm going to go under character and mesh and open up that UE4 mannequin skeleton. And I'm going to close the retargeted manager here. Make sure that we are on the skeleton tab. And if we want to add a socket, all we need to do is go to the skeleton tree and define where we want that socket to appear. So again, we mentioned the head. We could click on the head here and then right click on it and add a socket there. This will allow us to attach a hat, for example, or something on the character's head, or in the hand, for example. Just right click on the hand and add socket. For our purposes, we're going to add something to the character's back. So the character could be carrying like a sword on their back or a backpack or something. That's what we're going to do. So I'm going to go up to the clavicle here, going to right click on it, and going to add socket. It's going to ask us to enter a name for this socket. So I'm just going to call this the back, like so. So it is the back socket. And we can actually position this socket wherever we'd like. So I'm going to hit W to go into translation mode here. Just kind of move it so it's not in the center of the chest and just kind of pop it out onto the character's back, something like this. Should be good. Now notice that since we are making modifications to the skeleton tree, that we have an asterisk next to our skeleton asset here, indicating that we do need to save our skeleton asset. Otherwise, we will lose this. So let's go ahead and save our skeleton asset. And let's go ahead and close this now since we've added our socket. Now to actually populate this socket, we're going to have to jump into some blueprints here. And again, this is a bit outside of what we want to tackle for this video series. Typically, you would create a blueprint of the character class so that you have the ability to move around and jump and fall, etc. But we're just going to use the skeletal mesh that we've placed and turn that into a blueprint. So it's going to be a skeletal mesh blueprint. So I'm going to select this character here because this is going to be the character that we'll start with. Over in the details panel, we can turn it into a blueprint by clicking this button here. And it's going to ask us to give it a name and a save location. I'm just going to create it with its default information here. It's going to create the blueprint for us and open it up. And it looks very similar to what was inside of our level originally. But now we can add things to this. So we can add a sword to this blueprint that this character could be carrying. But before we do that, actually, we need to import our sword. So let me undock this real quick and go back to this. And let's actually import our sword. So I'm going to create a new folder inside the content browser. Just going to call it sword, like so. And I'm going to hop off screen for just a second and bring up my folder with all of our information, or all of our assets in it. So there's our sword that we grabbed from the Couch Knights demo that we exported. We're just going to import that now. So I'm going to just left click, drag and drop that in, like so. And it's going to give me the FBX import options. We could leave this all as default. Since it's just a static mesh, we don't need to worry about anything. So I'm going to go ahead and import it now. It's going to give me a couple warnings about smoothing groups and some other information about incorrect, which is fine for our example here. I'm just going to close this out. And there is our sword static mesh there. It's currently using a black material. I'm just going to change this real quick by double clicking on this. And over in the details panel, you can click this drop down and let's change this black material to some steel, like so. And if you look at our sword now, there it goes. That looks pretty good. So let's save this and let's close this. Now inside of our trooper blueprint here, we can add a static mesh. So over in the components, we're going to add a static mesh, like so. And since we have the sword selected inside the content browser, it's going to add that for us automatically. So let's go ahead and select this, and it will add the sword to this blueprint, like so. Now we could move our sword up in the viewport here, like so, and kind of position it on our character's back. However, the problem with that is, even though the character would move around and the sword would follow, it would stay in this location and wouldn't move along with our character's movement, which is not what we probably would want. This is where the socket will come into play. If we put this sword inside of that socket, the sword will follow the socket's translation. So wherever it moves, the sword will move as well. So let's go ahead and do that. We can do this by going over to the details panel for our sword here. And if we go down to the parent socket, there's a socket section. We can define the parent socket here. Now you can enter in the name manually, or you can click this magnifying glass and it gives you the options. You can assign it to a bone or a socket. We created that back socket, so I'm going to go ahead and select this. And in the viewport, it's going to pop our sword way up into the air because we adjusted the transform of it. So I'm going to go back to the transform and just zero that out, like so. Now it puts it right in the socket. However, there's some modifications that we're going to want to make to have the sword appear correctly on the character's back here. And to do this, since our character is moving, it's going to be hard to kind of position it where we want. So I'm going to hop up to the skeletal mesh here, and then down in the details panel, I'm just going to uncheck playing. So stop playing this animation for a second. And let's compile this. Now we can position the sword where we want. So I'm going to select our sword again. Move this over, move this out. I'm gonna hit E to rotate it. Let's rotate it this way, like so. And rotate it down, something like this. This is typically what you see when a character's carrying something on their back. Now our backpack that is built into the static mesh is kind of in the way a little bit, but I think you get the idea. So that looks pretty good. Wait, let's rotate it just a little bit more. Something like that. So that looks pretty good. Let's go back to our skeletal mesh here and let's recheck playing the animation. And now let's compile. And you'll see that the sword now moves along with our character, which is a little bit better. So with all of that, let's go ahead and save. And let's close this out. And if we look in the level now, our character that we turned into a blueprint now has that sword on their back. And if we play inside the editor here, you can also see that the character is carrying that sword on their back. Now these two other characters here, since they are using the same skeleton assets, the ones on the far left here, so this one and this one, we could populate that socket with whatever we want because they are using the same skeleton asset as this character here. But we could put whatever we want inside of that socket. So that's a quick rundown of how you could use sockets, populate, and attach things to your characters. That's actually going to do it for this video. So we're going to pause here. I'm going to pick it back up in the next video where we start talking about curves and notifies and how those relate to skeleton assets. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll pick it back up in the next video.